lot of good stuff came out this past year, so let's do this shit. This is the 13 badass albums of 017. It's been made clear that we'll probably never hear anything new from Rage Against the Machine. Instead, Rage members Morello, Wilk, and Comerford joined forces with hip-hop legends Chuck D and DJ Lord from Public Enemy, and they even added Be Real from Cypress Hill, because weed. They started Prophets of Rage, the almost next best thing. In many ways, they continue the Rage legacy with some badass pissed off force, but I do think they could use a little time to grow their own identity. I mean, it all just sounds like Rage with Chuck D and Be Real rapping. And that's not a bad thing, hell, it's supposed to sound like that. But they could have added a little more flavor. Not that flavor. It did remind me of the old days with Morello's wild guitar and Comerford's fuzzy bass, so it does what it came here to do, and I had a lot of fun with it. It's not a bad album, but it's not an amazing album. That's why it's only number 13. At number 12, we have Dream Car. Now here's another album with members of a band I love. After the last two No Doubt albums, I was done. But I did have some hope for Dream Car, even though I'm not the biggest Davey Havok fan in the world. Well, this album turned out to be pretty good. It has this dark 80s post-punk thing going on, the No Doubt guys are jamming hard, and Davey Havok isn't annoying. Yeah, I never really liked his vocal style all that much. Dream Car is the better album released by No Doubt this year, because Gwen Stefani is still putting out garbage. This was a fun album, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for Dream Car. At number 11, we have the original Kings of Industrial, and they're back with Hell Yeah. And damn, for a band hitting 30 plus years, they still bring a few fresh ideas to the table. But like KMFDM always says, it's the same old shit, but if it works this good, why fuck with it? The beats are heavy, the guitars are loud, and the bass bumps. They don't call it the ultra heavy beat for nothing.
I had a hat when I came in, I hung it on the rack. I'll have a hat when I go out.
Number 10 is Dropkick Murphys' 11 short stories of pain and glory. Dropkick Murphys are added again with more feel-good Irish punk, and that's this whole album in a nutshell. It just makes you feel good. There's a whole lot of heart, and it'll bring you out of a slump once you turn it on. The album is a bunch of aging punkers inviting you out for drinks, tall tales, dealing with life and loss, and an occasional brawl or two. It's easily under the same shit, different album umbrella, but Dropkick always gets a pass with me because it just makes me feel good. Number 9 is Ailstorm, No Grave But the Sea. Talk about same shit, different album. This is another band that doesn't stray far from the tried and true, but I always have so much fun. No Grave But the Sea is more outlandish pirate tales and heavy metal sea shanties guaranteed to make you pump your fist and bang your head. Songs about manning the pumps, Treasure Island, and getting fucked with an anchor. Normal pirate shit. It's fun, it's catchy, it's definitely Ailstorm. At number 8, we get Roger Waters' Is This the Life We Really Want? Now here's an album that has balls. Roger Waters released the best Pink Floyd album since The Wall this year. Yeah, it's his newest solo album, but damn, it sounds more like Pink Floyd than Pink Floyd's Endless River. Now, I dug Endless River, but as a good Gilmore Floyd album. This, on the other hand, feels like a Floyd album, and it flows like a Floyd album. The music is spacey, proggy, and just damn good. The usual Waters tropes are all here, talking shit about politics and even throwing in some World War II references. Also, unlike another album on this list, it keeps the references to Donald Trump locked down because Roger Waters is gonna damn well put them in there. It's a real cynical album, but that's how he's always been. Is This the Life We Really Want was a great surprise this year in terms of how good it actually wound up being. At number 7, we have Primus, The Desaturating 7. I loved the new Primus album, a weird, druggy concept album about rainbow-eating goblins based off a children's book Claypool read to his kids. Give me more. This album is much more on the oozing, greasy, proggy side, and it might be a little short, but it's also one of my favorites in a while. It's not a heavy rockin' album like Frizzle Fry, Antipop, or Green Naugahyde. It's mostly a gallon of grease dripping from pork soda and Tales from the Punch Bowl. I'm a bigger fan of those classics, but this one can hold a decent candle next to them. Number 6 is Queens of the Stone Age, Villains. Now this album is awesome. Queens came back with some groovy shit. Where Like Clockwork was a little more slow, dreamy, and calm, Villain takes a more upbeat, funky rock and roll approach, and it definitely paid off. This thing is fun. The songs are heavy, fast, and they can get a little weird at some points. It's still an awesome acid-laced road trip through the desert, but where the last one was more like a nice cruise, Villains lays the foot on the gas and rarely stops for anyone. Number 5 is Gorillaz Humans. This album had fans divided, but man, I loved this one. The more I listened, the more I dug it. They said that it was going to be a party album for the end of the world, and I can definitely see that. The music is bright, weird, and excessively apocalyptic. The guests all kick some ass, and yeah, I'd like to hear a little more 2D as much as anyone, but that didn't bother me all that much. Hell, we're supposed to be getting another Gorillaz album this year, so we'll see what happens.
Betting Taylor Swift every night inside the Oculus Rift after Mr. and the Missy.
Number 4 is Father John Misty, Pure Comedy. Father John Misty's new album is fantastic. It's one of the most honest, depressing, and mean-spirited albums I've heard in a long time, and I love every minute of it. He's throwing out his distaste for humanity with clever writing and beautiful music. It's the kind of album that when I'm done listening, I want to get up, change my life, be a better person, and be a lot more creative. But 5 minutes later, I'm back to sitting on my ass, looking through Facebook, playing video games, eating junk food, and pretending that I have it all figured out. Pure Comedy is one eye-opening and amazing piece of work in a time we needed it most. Number 3 is Big Dumb Face. Where is Duke Lion? He's dead. It's been a long 16 years since we got Duke Lion Fights the Terror, and I thought I'd never hear anything from Wes Borland's big dumb face. But out of nowhere, he released Where's Duke Lion, and it's absolutely amazing. The music is wild and wacky, very much influenced by Ween, Mr. Bungle, and whatever is going on in Borland's mind. It's all layered, intricate, and throws in a lot of goofy moments that really bring a smile to my face. And it's also worth the long freaking wait. When I listen to it, I really feel the fun that they're having, while at the same time I can appreciate that at least one member from Limp Bizkit can put out some original and timeless music. Number 2 is the Dustbowl Revival, the Dustbowl Revival. Dustbowl Revival is an incredibly talented group of musicians, and I fell in love with them a couple years ago with their fun Dixieland jazz and bluegrass stuff. Well, the new album drops most of that and instead goes for a more funk and rock sound that really works for these guys. They put as much love, care, and fun in this album like they do with the others, so that slight change in style doesn't slow them down one bit. One thing I love about this album is that Liz Beebe is all over it. She's the lead vocalist on here while Zach takes a step back, and that's awesome, because she has an awesome voice. This is one of those albums that just makes you feel, whether it's fun, loving, or complete sadness. This is an album that everyone should check out. And at number 1, we have Fleet Foxes' Crack Up. Fleet Foxes is number 1 this time because it's one that I go back to a lot. I was playing it all summer and throughout the rest of the year. It just keeps getting better and better. Crack Up takes me on a sonic journey with beautifully soft music, and Robin's vocals are as great as ever. It's one of those albums that just chills you out. It's not too loud, not too quiet, not too heavy, and not too soft. It's a pretty flawless album to me, and one that I will definitely be listening to for years to come.
You can drink my blood cause it tastes like liquor. You can have my kidneys, you can have my liver. Burn my body, cut it all up to pieces. I'll have a neat story when I go meet Jesus. I'm getting old.